Good morning. How's it going? Hey, that's my friend Ladybird. All right. Everybody always asks about the dogs and they always want to see him. She was running around here on the set and just helping me this morning because they have free run of the house. That's what they do. And so she was stopping by to say hi. Just wanted to say hi. So hi, everybody. The Ladybird. All right. Okay. So I thought it would be fun for us to make an arrangement this morning. I've made some arrangements that you've seen so far from all of the flowers that I got at the flower cellar. And I've got a few flowers left. And I have one place in the house where I always have this one vase. This has kind of become the vase that sits on the credenza between the dining area and the living area. And I like it. It's a pressed glass vase. So it looks like it's Waterford. It's not. Okay. It's an inexpensive glass vase, but I love it. And it looks like it's pressed glass. So it has really good reflective quality and holds a lot of water. I can see through the side so I can fill up the water and have it be there. And kind of divides the room. And it's just a great place for it to set. And so I always like to make sure that I have flowers there. And so I figured that we would make that together today and it would be fun to look at. You've seen me, I think, make this with dahlias before, with zinnias. So this is obviously flowers that right now everything's frozen. Okay. It's all of outside is snowy and it's all covered and it's gray and there's not any flowers growing. So we are not the lucky people who in the US have flowers that grow all year round outside. We are the people who have winter that brings on the tulips and things like that, right? And the thing I do love about winter is the fact that it puts everything to rest and then the garden gets to come alive again. And I love watching that part of it. I lived in Atlanta for a period of time and I could never really wrap my head around the fact that there was like 2 weeks of winter. I like there to be spring, summer, fall, and winter. And truly here in Michigan, we have 3 months of each of the 4 seasons. And I love that. Winter might be a little bit longer, but it's okay. All right. So what I have done is I mixed up in this is my new watering can from my friends at Arcadia Garden Products. And you can go to their website, arcadiagardenproducts.com. It has a cute little spigot on the end for watering in the garden that diffuses the water. But right now I have it filled with my Chrysler Professional 3 and cold water, so that when I'm making a project like this, I can just fill up the vase and know that my flower food and everything has already been measured and is all ready to go in there. Okay. Someone asked me the other day about how full do I fill my vase when I'm going to make my arrangement? And that's a really good question, because if we fill it too full, we're going to overflow it as we're designing. And so I probably try and fill it about 3/4 full. I might have this just a little bit. It's kind of borderline on where I'm going to put it, because I'm going to put a lot of stems in there. Okay. So again, thinking about the size of the stems you're going to put in there. If I was going to put amaryllis in here, if I was going to put gladiolas in here, I would use less water and then fill it up after I'm done too. And so now that we've talked about that all so much, I think I'm going to pour a little bit off just to be safe. Listen to myself. So, because you can always go back in and add water. You cannot go back and take water out. Okay. If you have a turkey baster, I guess you could, but yeah. So I hope you have your cup of coffee and whatever you prefer to drink when you're arranging flowers. I like my coffee in the morning. So hopefully maybe, also the other thing I love to do, and I don't do this when we're on here, is that I put on music. I have the music that I like. And I love to listen to music. We're actually thinking about creating a download for music to arrange flowers by. So if that interests you, maybe put a little note in there and say, hey, I'd be interested in that. I don't know. I'm just thinking about that because I have some favorite music. And our friend, Ben, Scott Brand, who's a talented musician, has created all the music that we use on Life in Bloom. And I thought it would be fun because we're having people who are asking, where can I get the music from Life in Bloom? And so I'm talking to Ben about that. So we're working on that. So it will happen. I am using my bypass cutter and my compact pruner today. I also have my knife in reserve in case I need it. And then we're going to start with this. So I think what's interesting is I've got some colorful spring things left, but I also have quite a bit of green. And I'm going to also use some of my fatsia leaves because they are a nice size. And I love that they will create structure and also add like a collar around my flowers. So as I'm putting my flowers in today, I am actually going to just be noticing that I want to put my flowers in on top so that it forces this down like that. And so that I don't put flowers behind here that end up pushing them into the center of the bouquet. All right, so collar foliage. I also could add this at the end if I wanted to too. You know, we don't typically normally do that, do we? We don't normally add them at the end. Let's do that today, shall we? I think that'd be fun. Okay, so I'm just gonna say, these guys are cut, they're ready to go. I'm gonna put them back here. We're add them at the end, all right? Just to give you, spice it up a little bit, right? Okay, so I'm gonna start with my Hypericum and also my pretty, most of them are pretty. This one is not pretty any longer. I borrowed leaves when we made our arrangement the other day, but I'm going to use these beautiful spray chrysanthemums. Look at the one is a different color. Yeah, the one's a little bit different green. This one is different than the other ones. Some of them are a little more minty, and one is darker green. I had two different bunches. I specifically chose two different colors when I was at the flower cellar. So I think that's good. I'm also going to go in with my little compact pruner because it has that little detail. And I'm going to just nip out in the center. I borrowed some, I like borrowed, I guess. Borrowed some blooms for another arrangement, or stole them, I guess. There's that too, right? So then I just want to trim out those stems so that it's pretty. And because I'm using my Chrysal Professional 3, these are all going to open as they get the food from the Chrysal Professional 3. I borrowed a couple in here too, so I'm just going to trim out those stems so that it's pretty. The thing I love about this compact pruner from Dram is it's just so easy to use, and it just does such great detail work. And it's dry in the house. These guys have been hydrating for a day or so. The blooms are still beautiful, but sometimes the foliage isn't the prettiest. And so if it doesn't look reputable, I take it off because I don't want it to mess up the rest of the arrangement. And again, we want to make sure that nothing's falling below the water line as we're creating this. Okay. So I know that we have favorite go-to flowers too. I certainly do. I love a green spray chrysanthemum because I think it activates the other colors that I will end up using in this bouquet. And so I really like that. When I go, I have a personal favoritism towards button pom-poms. I really do like button pom-poms. I like their shape. I like the way that they look. I think it's an interesting contrasting texture inside the vase, and I think it's pretty. So I do like that. I am going to add some Hypericum in here as well. Now see, I took out that fatsia, and look at how that helped the process, because I'm able to have these guys leaning, and they are creating the structure for me that typically would be from a foliage that would be inside there. The other thing I love is our friends at Fern Trust make the greens bouquets. And I'm really on a quest for many of our customers who carry Jay's bouquets or who carry flower bouquets, grocery store people, things like that, or florists, to stock the green bouquets, because I think it's a great way for us to drop a bouquet into a vase. We've got a structure that's there, and we can add our flowers, and it's easy. It's just a really easy way to make flower arranging more accessible, comfortable, and simple. And so that would be a really good thing. We're going to add some of these green. Oh, they look almost white, but yeah, these are beautiful green, natural green colored carnation. And what I'm doing with the carnation, you can see, is when I get them, many times they are tight And so I give them a little push sometimes to open them up a little bit. But in this case, the other thing that's important about this is that I want this bouquet to last a really long time. And so these carnations are going to open up on their own if I just give them the chance. When you buy them many times, you might buy them in a tight stage like that. That's okay. That's great. Because if you're not having a wedding or an event that's happening right away, and you want to enjoy these flowers for weeks to come, and literally weeks to come, you can leave them tight in their bud stage and let them open up in the vase. That's why we do use the Chrysal Professional 3, because the Chrysal Professional 3 helps provide the food and the nutrients that these flowers need to open up and be beautiful. So that's super important. But if you have time for that. Now, as an example, upstairs right now on my kitchen windowsill, I always keep I try and keep a red carnation or a carnation in a vase on the windowsill because it just reminds me of my dad. When I was growing up, my dad and grandpa always wore their red carnations every day. And at night, they would take them off of their coat, unpin them, cut them, and put them in a little vase at the kitchen sink. Okay. And so that is just like a great memory for me to have that little carnation sitting in there. And this Christmas I did, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you would have seen that we did a whole bunch of red and white carnations in little tiny vases all along the kitchen windowsill. And it was really pretty. I just really liked it. And I'm going to keep that up. I liked using them all. I think there was like a dozen maybe across there. But I still have 2 peppermint carnations from the 9th of December. From the 9th of December on my kitchen in those vases. That's how long they last. They are over a month old. And that's one of the great things about carnations is they're just such a long-lasting flower. Really, really, really important and really fun. So we've got this guy. That looks good. I'm going to add just a couple more carnations because I think it'll look real pretty. Now, look at it. It's very green. And so what this does is this almost creates a backdrop for our other flowers. Whatever else we're going to put in here, it's going to be the backdrop for them. Okay. Look how pretty that is. I think that's fun. All right. So I am going to add a bunch of yellow tulips. Okay. Yellow and green are my favorite analogous color scheme. Okay. Colors that are next to one another on the color wheel. And when we have those flowers next to one another, they look friendly, and they cause people to be more open, more fun-filled. Analogous colors are just like that, and that's just part of the things that analogous colors do for us. And so I think that's a great way for us to do them. And I love the fact that the yellow and green go together. I think yellow and green is really a pretty color combination that probably is the most ignored. Ignored analogous color scheme. Okay. People love to do pink and orange together, or people love to do blue and lavender together. But the yellow and green are really pretty. What's happening here as I'm doing this is it's getting shoved down in here. Okay. So I'm going to give it that little fluff that we always do at the end, but I'm going to do it in the middle of the arrangement right now. Okay. And so I love working on the turntable. Somebody texted me the other day and said they were so excited they were at IKEA and their wooden turntables were on sale. And they were texting to see if anybody else needed them. I thought that was great. That's where this guy came from. So I like the wooden ones over the plastic ones because I think the plastic ones, again, aren't as stable. So, yeah. And we don't need more plastic. Sorry. I don't know. They might argue about the wood too. Who knows? I'm not going to get into it. All right. So there we go. I just want flowers. That's what I want. Things that make my flowers better. So as I'm putting these tulips in, tulips grab on other things too. Is I don't have to worry if they get tucked down in here a little bit, because what tulips are going to do is they're going to grow. They're going to be phototropic. As they take up the water down here, they're going to start to go outward, and they're going to grow. The blossoms are going to get bigger. They're going to open. They're going to close. And typically inside, there's a very interesting color contrast with the stamen and the pollen and the pistil. And I love that part about it. So when they open up, there might be a little detail down there. Their purple ones that I used yesterday have a little teal colored pollen inside. So pretty, so pretty. Okay, let's see. Oh, well, we have a few yellow roses. So obviously I would want to put some yellow roses in here too to go along with our green. I think that's great. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just looking for a spot that needs a rose in it. This spot needs a rose in it. When I hear that little squeaky, I know that I am like almost on the inside of a tulip, like in between the tulip stem and the tulip leaf. And so typically I will pull back a little bit and try and find another entry point, because I don't really like to have those go together. Let's see. So now I think I'm going to just throw a few iris in there. The reason I'm going to do this is, look at those iris. They've got the little yellow center on them, right? And so I'm going to take them from back here because I don't want to lay them down, because laying them down will damage them because they're starting to open. We talked about on a previous video how you want to get your iris when they're just starting to open. And so now these probably have about maybe 3 or 4 days left on them, because that's all they're gonna, iris are short-lived, but I love them. But if you get them really tight, these opened up for 2 days in this bucket. So I really kind of wasted that time. When I buy iris, I like to arrange them immediately so I can experience what's going to happen with them, okay? And experience the opening process. That's part of being present and enjoying our flowers. So see, it's on top. Now, I know that a lot of people always talk about the different types of flower arranging styles and things like that. And I had somebody on one of my videos the other day ask me about what was the influence of my flower design style and what school did I go to? And that's a really loaded question, because I believe that my design style is an amalgam of so many other people. And we'll talk about that in a future video, because it's a long discussion. But I think it's good. And if you want to do it, you can search on frequent comments and find it there on YouTube and look at my discussion. But we'll have that discussion again another time. So now we're going to go back in and add our fat seal leaves. Now, again, I want to pull these guys up and loosen them up a little bit. And then I'm just going to come in here with my fat seal leaves, and I'm going to tuck them in. See, look at that, like that, okay? So I'm going to try and do one here for you. Now, see, what's interesting about that too is now the stem is going crossways through these, so it's almost locking those into place, okay? Really, really fun technique. And try not to break the carnation, Jay. There we go. So look, now we have that collar around there. And it helps with the scale of the arrangement. I'm just giving little adjustments as I go around here so nobody's like buried down in there. I think it looks great, right? Our final step always is our Chrysal Professional Glory. And that's, especially since it's dry and the houses are heated here in Michigan, and obviously it's cold outside and dry. And so those iris love this, because what that does is it seals the molecular structure of them and allows them not to evaporate water as quickly off of their face. I have one spot here I saw. See, I need a carnation right here. See how that filled in that spot? There we go. Okay, And everybody looks good. Over the course of the next few days, what's going to happen is those iris are going to come out. The tulips are going to come out. Remember what our bouquet looked like prior to adding the iris and the tulips. It's going to revert back to that because as those expire, I can just pull those out. And then I can sit there and enjoy for another week and a half my chrysanthemums, my carnations, and even these beautiful yellow roses are going to last a long time. High and exotic roses from our friends at Rose Prima. And I think that that's a beautiful way for us to think about our arrangement, is that it's going to transition over a period of time. This little chrysanthemum needs to come up a little bit. So I'll pull everybody up so that nobody's hiding inside there. I hope you enjoyed this. And obviously, we'll be back with more things. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss one of the videos that we do. And better yet, ring the bell. Because what that does is that gives you a notification that allows you to know when our premieres are coming up. When we're doing our premieres, I'm going to be over here on this side. Right there, over in this column, right over here, chatting with you so that we can chat and you can ask questions. Also, if you can't join us for the live chats, which happen at the premiere time, you can also post your comments and I answer all the questions personally. So that's part of what we do here at Fun with Flowers and Jay and our live and my live YouTube channel. So coming up mark your calendars, coming up in April, our season 3 of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom is coming to PBS as well. So I hope you had a good time. And until next time, keep having fun with flowers.